Molson Washington, that's where we're at now. It's really kind of a neat little place. It's a ghost town. This is Old Molson. About a half mile north of here is New Molson. Back in the day, they started this town as a mining concern. When the mining didn't pan out the way they thought it was going to pan out, the town dwindled back down to hardly anybody living here. Then there was news that the railroad was going to come through here. So all of a sudden, everybody rushed back into Molson. In a jerk move of biblical proportions, one of the guys who lived around here decided that he was going to run out and get himself a homestead that included much of the town of Molson. Thinking that he would cut a fat hog, he told everybody, hey, I own this now. After his homestead was established, he told everybody, hey, I own this now. You guys need to clear out. So they moved Molson to where it's at now, which is a half mile north of here. So what you have here is Old Molson. It's kind of a museum now. It's kind of cool. There's some old farming equipment. There's old mining equipment here. There's a really neat old offset press behind me. It's just a really neat area up here. We're maybe a mile and a half from the Canadian border, and there's some weather moving through. There's a low just to the north of us, so it's a little bit chilly, but it's not windy yet. After we leave here, we have about an hour and a half of backwoods driving to get to Kettle Falls, because there's a billboard that we've just got to get a picture of. If you were in the newspaper business back in the 20s, this is probably what you would have used. It's got it's kind of like a typewriter, except you can print off handbills with it. I don't know if it's functional or not anymore. Oh yeah, inking pads still work. That's awesome. I'd love to have that in my garage. I could find all sorts of uses for it. There's parts missing off of it though, so there you go. It's electric powered. You wouldn't have to do very much to get it back up, I think. You could probably replace that linkage and be on your way. That transmission might be tricky though. But anyway, that's kind of a neat piece of history here. It's in the Molson Museum. Hello, ma'am. I'd like to send a cable.
I'm sorry, this is the bank.
Oh, well then can I have some money?
No.
Hi, I'd like to make a withdrawal.
I'm sorry, we're short of funds today. But can I interest you in some dust?
This right here is an old ammonia compressor that ran the refrigeration unit up here back before they had Freon. They just had that there to compress the ammonia. And I'm not sure what that's off of, but there's an old clutch plate sitting on an old folding chair. By God, you can get anything you want in Molson, Washington. Now this is really cool. Here in the bank, they've got some of the newspapers that they printed back in the day on that printing press we just looked at. This cracked me up. Dave Williams is Ole the Swede in a Swede play. I'm guessing that was some sort of stereotypical Swedes are dumb, don't know nothing type of thing. Kind of like a blackface show. We're in the homesteader's cabin. They got a whole bunch of homesteader stuff, and here's an old washing machine, real similar to one my grandma had when I was a kid. Did I mention I grew up as a hillbilly? Rocking chair, gotta have a bed. Actually, it looks like a pretty good bed. Little table. This wood stove, it's a Majestic wood stove. It's pretty similar to one we had when I was a kid, except that ours had legs. I don't know why that one doesn't have any legs. Somebody took them off, I guess. I don't know. Weird, man. Got a wood box. Looks like the cabin's starting to lean and needs rechinked. You can see daylight back there. Here's where the dog homesteaded.
He had his own home.
Monster Mud and Power. Check out the wheels on this tractor. I ain't even going to try to pronounce what brand it is. It's pretty cool. I like the louvered fins on the hood. That's kind of cool.
Let the heat out.
It lets the heat out, but it definitely keeps the cool in. All right, this is the Tonasket Hotel. It looks like just a cabin, but they would actually put you up in here. Said it was built in 1898 by Frank Fontaine. He was a prospector and blacksmith, about a mile and a half or so north of here. homesteaded it in 1900. So in 1900, folks were still living like this. In fact, I used to use something very much like this when I was a kid. We'd use it to stuff sausage casings. So, you know, folks were still living like this in the 70s, actually. Here's a registry you can sign in. Miss Nancy's signing us in so everybody will know that the Morrises were here. Here's an early example of an ironing board. The ones we have are a lot fancier, but that one looks like somebody made it themselves. It's really kind of cool. Why would you iron them? Well, because you just washed them, and there's your wash pan, wringer. Here's your rinsed out pan. So the water you wring it would run back into this pan down this little chute right here, and your clothes would fall into this, and then you could take them and hang them up. When I was a kid, my grandpa had one of these, and we used to use it to sharpen axes, draw knives, all sorts of stuff like that. This one's missing the foot pedal, but it'd be a simple matter to set one back up on it. It looks like otherwise it's fairly functional. You can put water down there in that trough and keep your grindstone wet. Apparently there's an Indian hee-hee stone somewhere near here. Now, I don't know what that is exactly, but I'm guessing it's where Native American indigenous people got together and told stories that made them laugh about a certain rock. Perhaps we'll never know. Up here in the corner, you have the Buckeye Mine and the Poland China Mine. That's what got the town started. Once those collapsed, town left. Until they brought in the railroad. Look, here's the railroad, 9 Mile Railroad stop right over here. Goes off to Orville. There's even a little tiny airstrip down to the south. We're on a motorcycle though, so we have no interest in that. Okay, so now we're standing in the constable's office. This is the constabulary in the town of Old Molson, in the ghost town. Here's a desk with a couple of books on it they just put there, and a typewriter. Who knows if they use it for that, but there's a list of the lawmen of Old Molson, which is really pretty cool. You can see it starts back in 1900 when they first founded the town. Goes all the way through. You can see one guy was just, a couple guys were attorneys. There were some deputy sheriffs, justice of the peace. The best one over here, though, constable, justice of the peace, deputy sheriff, dance deputy. I don't know what kind of town Molson was, but if you can have a dance deputy, you probably don't have a very big crime problem, and that would be pretty cool. Showing pictures of cops, crooks, and courts. That fellow looks familiar somehow. Wonder if he's kin. When it got cold at the constable's office, they could fire up this stove. You can see it's an old barrel type stove down there. It's got a door. You put coal in it probably. If you look up here, they've got this double bend on the flue. The reason for that wasn't because they could take up some space. That chimney, that part of the flue that goes out where it exits the building, actually generates a lot of heat. And if you double that pathway and keep it extra warm with that hot smoke in there, it'll heat this up real nice. This area back here is kind of cool. There's a old desk. Who knows what that was for? Maybe that's where the dance deputy kept his party supplies. Who knows? They've got an old sharpening stone here, similar to that other one over there, but this one's a little more modern. It's got some steel on it, and it still works. You got to get it going though. I haven't done it for a while, but I can still do it. Cool, good times. This is the old shake mill. Got some really cool stuff in here. They got some machinery that I have absolutely no idea what it does. It's pretty cool stuff though. The fascinating thing about a ghost town is all the junk that gets left behind. For some reason, somebody's taken all of these doors off of wood stoves, cast iron wood stoves, and stuck them back here. It's kind of cool. I have never seen a wood stove quite that fancy. But then we weren't that fancy of folks when I was a kid and had wood stoves. That is without a doubt the coolest rototiller I have ever seen. And I love the gas tank with the little breather. That is so cool. Wheel turns around the engine, direct drive. Some old prospector's mighty thirsty. He lost his canteen. So how close is Molson to the Canadian border? Well, this was apparently the customs house. Do it. Ring the bell. Do it. Pull it hard.
Almost.
You got to pull it and let it bounce back and forth.
There you go.
Good job, man. And this building literally had wallpaper. Look, there's paper on the wall. It's wallpaper. We're in the assayer's office. Here's an old gold pan. Here's some tools for crushing. Kind of looks like a jack to me, though. Little things for the furnace. Some ding-dong left their cigar here. Good job, dude. Everybody wants to see your cigar.
That is a fancy stove. Look at it. Spiffy.
What if that door out back goes to this?